Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Rohini here with another juicy sex talk. These have been so much fun. I'm happy to say that this video is sponsored by my fave, Dipsy. Once again, thank you Dipsy for everything that you do, bringing pleasure to the population. So Dipsy is an audio app filled with all of these short, sexy stories that are designed to turn you on. I'm like smiling because I'm just thinking about it. They have all these different stories that are made for your pleasure. So like this one is Virgo season, it's her and him, commanding, coworker, rough and wild, dirty talk. Like there's all these different categories and you can pick what you're interested in. I'm like, ooh, dirty talk, I'm interested in that. And then there's all of these different options that you can listen to, and some of them you are listening to a story, like listening to a couple characters like having sex or something, and you're just like the third person. Or in some stories the character's talking to you, like telling you what he wants you to do to him or she. And there are group experiences, and there's guy and girl and girl and girl and guy and another guy and another girl, and or you and a girl. There's all the experiences. Anything that fits your fancy, they have it. It is a wonderful addition in my life, as I am someone who definitely gets turned on from story conjuring and mental imagery, which I guess is very common for most females. So I definitely would recommend checking it out if you haven't already. Lots to offer there. Can really spice up your sensuality and your sexual connection with yourself and experience more and more pleasure, which is, of course, the goal, right? For Rohini, R-O-H-I-N-I, you get an extended 30-day free trial, so 30 days of Dipsy for free. Check it out, experience all of the pleasure, and let me know how it is. Thank you, Dipsy, for sponsoring this video. So in today's video, like the other ones, I'm going to be answering some of your sex questions related to actual sex or sensuality or pleasure or anything really along the lines, and I'm definitely becoming more and more interested in this topic. You might not be surprised, but I am, literally I just got these books in last night. Tantric Orgasm for Women and the Radiance Sutras. So I'm very interested in bringing even more of that soul spirit connection within sexual intimacy. So very exciting stuff. I will keep you updated probably on the podcast as I learn more, but it's very important, and I'm realizing more and more that my own experience, my connection with my personal power is very closely related to my connection with my sensuality, and as my connection with my sensuality and that power source within me grows and gets stronger, my overall power and confidence in the world has gotten stronger, and it feels like they are very closely connected because that is the creative force within you that literally all life stems from. So it's very powerful. So I love to talk about this. This is a really great question. We're just gonna get right into it. These questions were from a past Q&A that I did that I didn't get to answer yet. So how do you differentiate between what you like versus what you've been conditioned into liking? Such a good fucking question. Oh my goodness. Yeah, because there's so much, I mean, within porn and just society standards and like what we grow up hearing and seeing as examples, like in movies and everything, not always very realistic, and also not often connected with the emotional experience. It's more of the physical, but like there's a lot going on inside when we have sex and experience sex. So great question. I would say well, first of all, like how does it feel when you're doing it? Like if it's not a full fuck yes, then it's perhaps not something that you actually enjoy and should be doing at this moment. Like if you've seen in porn that it's like really great to be dominated or whatever, and then you go to bring that and do that with your partner, and it starts happening, and you're like your body's like, oh, I don't like this, I actually don't really like this, but you just try to go along with it because that's what you thought, was the right thing to do. That's a sign. Like that's a big sign. Always tuning into our body and how we react. Like, is it a clenching or is it an opening? Is it clenching or opening? Becoming aware of our body and just the littlest reactions, like are we flinching, are we closing, how does our body reacting? So if it's a full fuck yes and you're like yes, more, and you just feel yourself opening and expanding and releasing and just dropping further into the moment and further into your body out of your mind, then that's probably a good sign that it's something that you really enjoy. And there is no one right way or wrong way. There's just whatever works for you in that moment, whatever feels empowering and powerful, potent. And it might change. What you might enjoy now, you might not enjoy in a little while, or vice versa. Like, as you deepen into a relationship, maybe new things are opening up that you haven't tried before, but definitely allowing yourself to just listen to your body and connect with what it's telling you, because it tells you a lot. So yeah. So I got a lot of questions, of course, about how to maintain spiciness and intimacy in a long-term relationship, which is such a good question because things change, you know. Life is, sometimes it becomes like a very good friendship, and it can be hard to keep that sensuality and that spark going. And for me lately, I've been on the journey of like peeling back the layers instead of adding like more toys, more this, more that. It's like peeling back and kind of going into the core of what I want to experience. So it's like, okay, actually, like, words are really important to me just in general in my whole life. Like, I really enjoy words. So I think in the bedroom, if we could bring in more words, that would be really good. And I think I'd really enjoy that. It's like just connecting back, going inward, of course, but like tapping into what it actually is that you want to feel. Are you feeling like your connection is distant right now and you want a deeper connection? So what can you do in the bedroom that feels more intimate and brings that connection? Like maybe really having a lot of eye contact and like a lot of like tender kisses, maybe going really slow, like whatever it is that you are actually craving. Like sometimes we're like, okay, I need this connection. I'm just gonna bring in all these new toys and like we're gonna do something wild and crazy. I'm gonna have new lingerie and plan this whole thing. And it could be possible that doesn't satisfy that craving, because it's not more that you're craving. It's actually less. It's simple. It's coming back into the connection. That's what it really is. Sex is all about connection, right? And sharing those energies. So what are you actually looking for when you're saying you don't have a connection or you're wanting to keep it spicy? Like, what are you actually looking for? Yeah, and then going from there. Another person kind of similarly asked, how do you deal with losing interest in sex? And of course there are so many factors with this. Like, our body's, again, very sensitive and also very resilient. So if there are many things health-wise that could be making you feel not interested in sex. Like there's lots of different things with hormones, and I don't know how to explain that properly. I'm not a doctor, but if you feel like your libido is extra low lately, you could go to the doctor and go to a naturopath or go get your hormone levels checked just to check in and see how you're feeling. But also, sex and not wanting sex could be very closely related to your mental state, of course, and also the connection that you feel with the partner. So sometimes I feel like it can go two ways. It's either I don't feel connected with you, I need to have sex all the time to bring that intimacy and that closeness that we don't have during the day back. Like in the bedroom we are connected, but otherwise it doesn't feel like that. So I want more sex, more. Or I don't feel connected with you, so I don't want to share my body with you. That's another, because it's very vulnerable. It's like I don't feel connected with you outside the bedroom, so why would I want to share this part of me? So I feel like I can go either way. But just really looking within yourself and seeing if you still have interest in connecting with your own sensuality for you, not with a partner, not in sex, but like your own pleasure. And maybe starting there, because sometimes it can be a very deep relationship with yourself that has been neglected or turned away from, or maybe there's some pain there that you haven't addressed before. So really going within and seeing, again, listening, like what are your actual needs? Are you wanting connection with yourself? Do you feel disconnected from your power in terms of your sensuality? Are you feeling disconnected from your partner? Like what is it that's actually, because you not being interested in sex is just a big sign to go deeper and see what's actually beneath that. So I just invite you to really like sit with it and see what comes up for you. And of course, connecting with yourself, your sensuality for you on your own time, however feels comfortable, is very, very powerful. Another great question. Why do you think it's important we talk about sex more? So many reasons, and more every day. I'm really feeling like this is something that's so vital to talk about, because sex is connection, and true connection is pretty rare, I feel like, these days. And so when enter into this intimacy, if we have a deep connection with ourselves and have a deep connection with our partner who's also connected with themselves, like literal magic can happen. And that's like the goal, right? So that's the thing that we can all try and shoot for and like aim for. Literal, like, life is born, creation is born from sex. It's sacred and it's special and it's beautiful and it's fun and all of those things. So just removing that stigma around it, because it's like, it's when I look at it objectively, it feels so silly that there would be a stigma around something that is the most natural thing. We are all made from this. It's the most like singular guarantee that there is in life. There is no life without sex, you know? Does this make sense? I don't know. Like, sometimes I go on rants, but it's just so important. And like I said in the last video, like reframing the conversation from what not to do, to hide and do this, and reframing it from what not to do to empower. Like, instead of disempowering, don't do this, hide, cover your shoulders, don't engage with men like in this way or they're going to want to have sex with you, whatever. Or don't engage with this woman because she's just going to like suck you dry or something. You know, all of these things that we hear. Instead of that, going into an empowering state of, I am worthy of deep connection. I am worthy of respect. I am worthy of being seen as the goddess that I am. Like, reframe the conversation instead of hiding, disempowering, to like power. Like, I am fucking worthy of this. That's the goal. So I would love to learn, like, do a course on sensuality and sexuality, because I think it's really fucking cool, really important. So if you have the opportunity and you feel called to share something in your intimate experience with a friend or anyone, really, like, if you feel called, I would definitely encourage you to go for it, so we can start having these conversations more openly. And a podcast I really, really enjoy is Aubrey Marcus' podcast with his wife Ilana and Layla Martin. It's a pretty recent episode. It's like 2.5 hours, and Layla is a master tantrika sex coach and instructor. She has her own institute for tantric sex, so she's very knowledgeable, and I loved how they spoke about sex, and I learned a lot from that episode. They talk about practices for men to connect with their sensuality, practices for women to connect with their sensuality, and then practices for couples. So very, very, very informational episode if you guys are interested. Yeah, so that's that. Tip: how to climax as a woman. It just hasn't happened for me yet, even with good steamy sex. So my first thing is, what practices do you do just with yourself, sola, to connect with that energy? Like, it all starts from there, and I would invite you to create a practice with yourself. And it is a practice. Like, this is one of the most important, prevalent pieces in our lives that really can affect a lot of things. So treating it seriously, treating it like with the sacredness that it deserves, and setting up a practice. Like, it's not weird to have a sexual practice. It's how we get better at it. You know, practice makes perfect. And as you get to know this part of you deeper over time, things will become stronger. So creating a practice, that's what Layla talks about a lot in that podcast, which I would definitely recommend. But creating a practice, like just getting to know yourself, looking in the mirror, looking at your vagina in the mirror, looking at your boobs in the mirror, just looking at yourself naked and seeing what comes up for you, because it is very deep. So just establishing that connection, and yeah, exploring just with your fingers, not with toys, like just natural, like exploring your natural sexual state. What does it feel like? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? And just being really gentle and like loving yourself the whole way through, instead of like, oh, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? God, it's taking so long. What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. Just like, oh, okay, like here we go. This is new. Like, let's do this. Okay, interesting. Like, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Like, nice. Like, just really loving yourself all the way through it. Even like repeating, I love you, I love you, I love you in your own mind can be really powerful. Don't knock it till you try it. And because I think it seems like for me, in order to be able to release, climax, I have to feel safe enough to do that, because that's your most vulnerable state. You're completely like vulnerable. You're raw. You're like exposed, because you're just allowing your pleasure to just come out. And when you really climax, like, you kind of leave your mind. Like, it's a euphoric state that is not in your body. You're out of your body. So that's that's very vulnerable. So you have to feel safe enough to expose that vulnerability. So making that connection with yourself, finding that safety within yourself, seeing what, might be there, buried, that you haven't addressed and looked at yet, could be really powerful. And if you're interested, if it's something that's really like present for you and you want to get more into it, like just starting to look into it, study it, listen to podcasts, go to a therapist if you want, like really get into it, because you deserve to feel that pleasure and have that release. And it's not necessarily something that's going to come overnight. So I just would encourage you to go gentle on yourself and just connect. And yeah, I think I'm going to end it out here, just kind of short and sweet, but hopefully a lot to chew on at the same time. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for embarking on this journey of self-exploration in the funnest way through our sensuality. Thank you for being here, and thanks Dipsy for sponsoring the video. Go check them out. Okay, love you. Bye.